Hey, g'day everyone. We're going live today to talk about self-distributing films on YouTube and my experiences doing that with all the films on Late Night 99. I've got a bit of a presentation, good old-fashioned whiteboard presentation for you, and we're just going to discuss some of these things. The way I've set up the camera is the way I've set up my phone, I should say, is I can't see any of the comments. Not that the lives have been getting many live viewers or comments anyway, but I won't be able to reply to them. But comment on the video and I'll reply on those main comments. I just won't be able to do the sort of live chatting like a normal stream. So I suppose the reason that I wanted to talk about distributing films on YouTube is because I've found over the last couple of years that this is the most effective way to get people to watch and enjoy your films, which is the goal for me when I'm making movies, is for people to be able to enjoy them and participate with the art with the film in a fairly natural and enjoyable way. So I'll sort of go through my process and explain what I do, so that if you want to distribute your films on YouTube, or if you want to use YouTube as a platform to build an audience or generate some interest in your films, it's a good way to go about that. So I guess the first question is what if you're gonna self-distribute films, you need to decide that that's what you're going to do. So there's lots of ways to get films out there once you've made a movie. Just like there's a million ways to make a film, there's a million ways to distribute it. And there's a lot of really legitimate avenues to go down. You can go down like a aggregate like Film Hub and get them to distribute it for you. They're essentially a broker for film distribution. You could go and try and connect directly with a distributor. That might be through a producer or through your network or relationships that you have, or cold contacting people. I know for a long time Prime Video had that you could approach them directly about distributing your films. I'm sure a lot of other film distributors have those avenues open. Other avenues you can go down is the film festival route. Sometimes putting your film in a film festival gets the right eyes on it and gives you the opportunity to get a distribution deal or conversation. I'm totally speaking out of school because I've not gone down any of those pathways really very far. Full disclosure, Over the Next Horizon is available on a few streaming platforms. I've not promoted them really, but I was sort of testing out Film Hub to see how that goes, and I had submitted a lot of our early short films to film festivals and not really had very much success. So in the early days we kind of knuckled down on YouTube as or self-distribution as the way that we would go, because it's what we'd done before when we were kids and just putting films on YouTube, and that was fun for us because everyone could just watch it. Watch us be silly and muck around and have fun. And it also suited us because on YouTube there was the opportunity for a lot of people to watch our films, and we went through high school, my friends and I, and watching films on YouTube and enjoying them. So really we thought, hey, this could be an avenue for us to go down. There's a lot of opportunity there for people to find us and watch our films. So the question of why YouTube is the platform is, there's a few good answers to that. Firstly, it's a widely trafficked website, so that a lot of people use YouTube. A lot of people, there's a lot of opportunity for people to come into contact with your film. It's easily accessible. Everyone has YouTube on their phones. Not everyone has Vimeo or Rumble or X on their phones, which are all other places that you could host long form videos. So for us, YouTube was the place to be. It's a well-trafficked, well-used website. It's got an algorithm that could give us an opportunity, and has, and it's a way for us to. YouTube to me symbolizes the democratization of film. This is something I've talked about before, but the democratization of film to me is the recognition and the state of the fact that anyone can make a movie. I am not a film student. I just love movies, and I love the language of cinema, and I want to tell stories with cameras and actors. There's nothing that stopped me from making a feature film. Nothing has stopped me from making multiple short films. There's no one policing this. This is a free space for artistic expression, and that's why the YouTube platform works for me, is because the sort of films that I'm making aren't necessarily going to cater towards a film festival audience. They're not necessarily going to be films that'll get picked up by a mainstream distributor. So YouTube seemed to be that grey area and that flexi space. That's how we've landed on YouTube as a platform, and I'm going to discuss how we approach this, how we went about distributing our films on YouTube, because I think it's fair to say that we've had some varied success, and a few really great and interesting opportunities have come out through our releasing films on YouTube, and I think I've got it down to, I don't want to say fine art, because I feel like that's a bit self-congratulatory for someone who doesn't have huge success on YouTube, but I think I've got enough experience promoting films and distributing films myself on YouTube to share some of that knowledge with other filmmakers. So that's where we're at. All right, that was a long rambling intro, but I sort of wanted to set the scene before talking about all these other things and launching into how to promote on social media, how to build an audience, and where that audience, how to find that audience. I wanted to sort of set up the why first, because I think that's an important question when there are so many options available to filmmakers. So let's get stuck in. We're past that. The first thing you're going to want to think about when you're distributing your film yourself is you want to do a little bit of market research, and you want to find out who your audience is. And you can do that in a few different ways. When you break down audience on YouTube analytics, or think about audience, often people think about sex, gender, age, ethnicity, those sorts of things, and those are metrics that come up on YouTube analytics. That's not the sort of thing that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is things like, what are the people that will watch your film, what are they interested in? What genre is your film? Who likes that genre of movie? And what are the hobbyists that are going to be interested in your particular film? So when we know those things, you're going to have a better chance at targeting the social media marketing and your marketing campaign, because it is a campaign. It's a mission. It's a project to work on, and I found that you have to put just as much work into distributing your film, maybe, as you do editing the film. It's an equal amount of time, if not more. So I'm going to use a film that I'm working on now, that I'm writing a script for. The film's called Quiver. The reason I feel happy to disclose all of the stuff is I'm certain that this will get 63 views on YouTube over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So it's really only the diehard fans that are here anyway, or family, or people that have happened into this video and forgotten that it was playing. So Quiver is the film that I'm working on. It's a film about set in the Australian outback. It's It's kind of a slasher film. It's a contained thriller, and it's about a cast of characters who are faced with incredible violence and a huge, horrific trapped situation when they're confronted by an archer on an outback road. That's what the film's about, right? I've obviously not planned the elevator pitch for this, but bear with me. I need to figure out what are the particular interests of people that would like this film, what genre is the film and who likes this genre, and what hobbyists would connect with this. So in terms of interests, off the top of my head, we've got archery as a sport, as an interest. We've got filmmaking. Obviously, I'm a filmmaker, I'm making movies. That comes down to the hobbyist side of things, so other aspiring filmmakers. Other interests, you've got Australiana. It's something that we're wanting to lean into, is that it's an Australian film shot in the outback. We're wanting to lean into sort of like a real nationalistic approach to the film, where we're proud that it's Australian. We're wanting to embrace some of that, hopefully capture some native wildlife on footage as a part of the film, and really have the setting be a character in and of itself. So hey, that's an interest there. We've got genre, it's a contained thriller, bordering close to slasher film, possibly like even getting close to like a snuff film, maybe a bit like Wolf Creek, where there's a lot of violence. It's a horror film as well to a certain extent, and there's a lot of action in this film, very action packed, there's a lot going on. So those are the sort of different genres that I can tap into, and they'll come into the social media conversation, but keep those genres in mind, okay? So if you like Phone Booth, you might like this movie. If you like Wolf Creek, you might like this movie. If you like Hush by Mike Flanagan, you might like this movie. So if you like Wrong Turn, you might like this movie. So these are sort of things that you're thinking about with genre. And then in terms of hobbyists, we're looking to do some practical effects. So practical effects artists, special effects artists, makeup artists, every aspect of filmmaking, so the cinematography, directing, producing, sound design, editing. There's individual hobbyist groups or categories that may be interested in your film, may want to watch it. But for this one in particular, it'll be the special effects, it'll be the cinematography, I hope, and it'll be those things that are the draws for people. Acting as well, that's a whole other thing. I'd be really amiss to forget. So we want to be keeping those things in mind, right, to do with the audience. The interests, the genre, and what hobbyists your film could be interesting to. So once you do a bit of your market research and start to have a think about these different areas, you can then use that to inform how you proceed with social media. So I've split up social media into the metaverse. You've got Facebook, Instagram, Threads. YouTube is a social media platform in and of itself, and I'll get into that as well. We've got Reddit, Twitter, now known as X, and you've got Discord / chat rooms and that sort of thing, depending on what other online discourse you're involved with. Okay? So let's go from the top down. So we've got Facebook. Facebook's really where this audience comes in, where you can really hone in on particular Facebook groups and that kind of thing. So what you'd want to be doing is you'd be wanting to follow in particular certain groups and befriend people and connect with people in those groups that align with your audience, with your particular interests that relate to your film. So you might join an archery group, you might join Aussie groups, or you might join the neighborhood page for the local area that you filmed in, right? Genre, you'd be joining horror fans Facebook group, you'd join contained thrillers Facebook group, you'd join it's an indie film, you join A24 Film Appreciators, A24 Films Appreciators. You join science fiction writers, or science fiction fans, and you're wanting to capture. Writers would fall under hobbyists, but with genre, you're wanting to capture who are the fans of a particular genre. With Weapon X, our Wolverine fan film, that was really easy. You'd find all the Wolverine fan pages, you'd find all the Marvel fan pages, and that's where you would go. X-Men fan pages, that's where you would focus your energy with those groups. And then with hobbyists, this is where you would track down the acting pages, the cinematography pages, the special effects and makeup pages, and you would join those as well. And my advice and my experience with Facebook is that people are a little bit less savvy on Facebook than they are on maybe Reddit or Twitter when it comes to people's BS radar, and I try and approach everything that I do in the marketing space with sincerity and with authenticity. So I'm not saying that I'm disingenuously promoting the film, like I'm trying to connect with people in an authentic way, but you can generally get away with a little bit more when it comes to just blatant promotion and sharing of your film on Facebook. You don't want to flood pages, and it may be worth setting up like a spreadsheet or a way to track where you're sharing and who you're connecting with on Facebook. But the primary thing in Facebook is groups. I'd be joining groups and sharing your film in those groups based on the audience that you think will want to hear about it. It's a good way to focus your energy and that kind of thing. Aside from groups, the other ways that you can use Facebook is very similar to how you can use Instagram, and that's going to be by making a page for your film or for your production company and promoting the film on there by posting behind the scenes snippets, scenes from the film, trailer, stills from the film. You'll want to be doing all those things on your Facebook page or your Instagram page for the film. And in doing that, you can tag the people that were involved, and then you can also start to share those posts in the groups that you think might be interested to hear about it. The way that Facebook and Instagram would be very similar. The main difference on Instagram is that you'll be using hashtags maybe a lot more. I'm not very good at using hashtags, so I don't have much advice around there, but it's the same principle with hashtags, that you'd be wanting to target people in your audience. So we'll strike Instagram off there as well, because again, it is very similar to Facebook. I found that Facebook is going to be better for capturing the genre side of things, and possibly the special interest side of things. I found personally that Instagram is better at capturing the hobbyists. More people use Instagram to create a profile for themselves than they do Facebook, for whatever reason. So for us with Late Night 99, our Facebook page is pretty dead, but our Instagram page kind of pops off sometimes, so make of that what you will. When it comes to threads, I've struggled to get much traction on threads. I think I've not given it the effort that it probably deserves, and I'm not sure how many people are using it. I did notice initially when threads opened, there was a bit of a movement with the hobbyists and the filmmakers move over to threads. But I think everyone's just come back to Twitter, to be honest, from what I've seen. So I don't see much uptake on threads. It's partially my fault. I'm not using it that much, but when I get to Twitter and X, a lot of what I talk about there will apply to threads as well, really, because they're very similar platforms. So that's the metaverse done. When it comes to YouTube, there's a couple of things that you can do in treating it like a social media platform. But I try and be a bit more sensitive with YouTube than I am with anything else, because when you're posting on YouTube, I'm talking particularly, I think, about the comment section and the community page. You're really close to the nerve. You're talking directly to your you're talking directly to your fans. You're talking directly to your viewership. So I try to just be positive. Try to just be appreciative and put thought and care into replying to every comment that comes through on each video. Pardon me, I think that's really, really important. In terms of the community page, going off of what I've seen other people do, I've noticed the following trends and then sort of tested it on our channel. Anytime I use the community page to share the film that we've just made, share a link to an existing YouTube video, it doesn't get very many interactions. People don't really want to see that. Maybe it comes across as tacky, like we've already seen it in the subscription feed, buddy, we don't want to see it again. I don't know, but people generally aren't interested when you share the film again on community page. People respond okay to pictures, so when you post some pictures or stills up, people seem to respond well to that. People, I've noticed, unless there's a big block of text and you're explaining something, I don't get much engagement in updates, unless it's a fairly major update. But what I do find that people engage well in is the polling and the quizzing tools. I've noticed that I'll post a picture, it might get 4 or 5 likes. I'll repost a video on community page, it might get 1 like. I'll do a poll and I'll have 30-40 votes in the poll and like 14 likes on the post. People seem to enjoy that, and I've noticed when I'm scrolling through my subscription feed, I enjoy seeing a poll there because I don't know, part of me feels like I can help with their market research. I can help, let them know how effective their algorithm was this time around for their film. I don't know, but that is the way that I would use YouTube, and the community page is come up with interesting polls or quizzes to give to your audience as a way to interact with them, and then you've also got the comment section. And I don't want to understate the value of coming alongside other filmmakers and commenting on their things as well, and sort of being the other side of this. You want to also, whilst you want to be trying to find people who are interested in your film, you also want to be someone who's open to being exposed to other people's films as well. You want to be that hobbyist, that filmmaker that's happy to check someone else's film out. You want to be a horror fan that supports indie film as well. So it's 2 sides of that coin. When it comes to Reddit, there's a particular way that you sort of have to approach Reddit, because there's self-distribution or self-promotion, I should say, is not supported on Reddit. On many of the main subreddits, it's not really a done thing. So you have to sort of authentically think of a way that you can introduce someone to your film or set up a question about your film without sort of obviously or directly doing it. So, or I think what I more mean is with Reddit, you want to be sharing something about your film that adds as much value or provides as much value to the person that might see it, that as they would bring to the film by watching it. So you want to be focusing on lessons. What lessons can I share with people that I learned? Tips. What tips have I got about my film for you? Samples or examples. Hey, I shot this really cool footage. What do you think of it? And that sort of thing. You really want the focus to be on what value can you give to someone else, and that tends to bring a lot of interactivity with posts. Other things that I've seen sort of work is when you maybe ask for feedback, or say, hey, I made this film, what do you think about it? First time, make it sound like or identify like a milestone that this film was for you. But those to me feel a little bit less authentic, and it does get into the territory of like, how can I trick these people into watching my film? And that's not what you want to be doing. People pick up on it pretty quickly, and that's not necessarily the reputation or the name that you want for yourself either, as the guy that spams Reddit about his film. But hey, that's Reddit. I find that there is genuinely an audience of interested genre fans, hobbyists that sit in Reddit. There's an audience there to capture, and there's a market there for your marketing plan, but you just need to find the right way to approach it, because there's a finesse there. It's a bit tough, but I've not fully nailed it, but there's a way to go about it. Twitter has been a really interesting space for me over the last couple of years. I think I joined Twitter about a year and a half ago, and on Twitter I already knew of a few filmmakers that I felt like were in a similar league to me, that were making films that were similar to the films that I was making. And there's a bit of which, came first, the chicken or the egg there. Like, I think I was inspired by a lot of the films by people like Dan and Lotz and Joel Haver, the Doom Production Boys, RC Films, and that there's a few really great filmmakers on that are active on Twitter that I felt like I was doing a similar thing too, and then was also aspiring to be like, and like a really positive peer relationship. And we, by engaging with some of these people on Twitter, some of them knew who I was, some of them didn't know who I was. Engaging with them on Twitter, it sort of embedded me in a bit of this filmmaking community. Now, I'm not sure how much of a silo this is. I'm not sure if I'm in a tiny silo of filmmakers in a sea of filmmakers. And there's lots of little silos inside this scene. I'm sure that's actually the case. In which case, I'd be encouraging you to reach into different you can sort of find groups by searching for a hashtag or a topic or a film, finding it, seeing who's commenting and replying, and then sort of following those threads to find out, hey, who knows each other, who supports each other's films, who is interested in supporting indie film, who's having conversations around new movies, and find those sort of bubbles. I found a couple of little bubbles, but that's I'm assuming it's wider than that, and there's a lot to find. Twitter's a big place, and it seems to be the place to be for talking about films and filmmaking. So I definitely use Twitter a lot. I treat Twitter a bit more casually than I treat some of the other places. I banter with people. I use it as a place to build rapport and make genuine connections with people. And Twitter has hugely paid off for me with Marana, for example. That was the way that I was able to connect with these 17 different directors that have worked on Marana with me, which is fantastic, and it really speaks to the commitment that people seem to have, or at least the people that I've come across on Twitter, for independent film. So if you are a filmmaker and you're wanting to start using Twitter, find us on Twitter, shoot us a message, and I can let you know some really great filmmakers to follow, and at least bring you into our bubble, although I'm sure there are many, many more. There we go. Twitter is X now. So, and the last place that sort of lands us is on Discord. So so Discord is like a chat board, essentially, often used for gaming and that sort of thing. I came across a filmmaking group called Folk Filmmaking on Discord, and it had a lot of the filmmakers I was following on Twitter sitting in Discord. Now that Discord channel in particular is pretty dead at the moment. A lot of people are very, very busy and have stopped using it. It's sort of dried up, but particularly in 2022, that was a huge again, rapport building. That was a huge network opportunity for me, was to connect with some people um, inside this community, and really, you know, connect with them on a more personal level, where you can build like a bit of a actual relationship with people, and start to move into peer friend territory, as opposed to just observer, fan, admirer. Um, Fan is probably the right word, really. So the way that I've used Discord is I have had a really reciprocal conversation with people, and a continuous back and forth about their projects, my projects, and it's been more of a it's a chat room. You know, we talk about films. What are you doing? You know, and it's probably the most vulnerable that I've been, and personable that I've been. Twitter's probably the second most, and then these top ones are the ones that you want to be a bit more. I don't know, professional is probably the wrong word, but a bit more precise about what you're doing. So I sort of just tacked Discord on there at the end. It's not necessarily a huge part of my marketing strategy, but it is an opportunity. And if you come across any particular groups, or find that there are any filmmaking groups, those could be really great places to join. Often people have Discord set up when they've got a Patreon as well, so find some filmmakers that have a Patreon and a Discord. Maybe join that Discord and connect with them. We have a Discord set up for our Patreon, and this is the part of the video or the live stream where I'm gonna plug our Discord and our Patreon a little bit. I wanted to thank the 4 subscribers to our Patreon. And I know you all by name because there's so few of you, but we've got Corey and Kerry, executive producers for us, and Reese and Johnny are supporting us in a huge way by continually donating to our filmmaking effort, and it's just so appreciated. I have no words. I'm totally blown away. We are now able to do some really cool things with that money. I think we're sitting at about $600 roughly a year. After the cost of the perks come out, the cost of shipping the prop out to someone comes out, and after Patreon takes their cut, which they do, we're left with about $600 for the next year of making films, and that's only with 4 people helping. So if anyone else is out there that is watching our films, that's supporting us all the way to the end, like you are, yeah, click on the link in the description and consider it, because it's we have a gold coin donation tier, which is not going to be a huge dent in the budget, and by doing that, you go in the draw to win a prop from one of our films. I can tell you it's going to be it's going to be a really good prop. You'll be excited to get it, and I know that there's so much potential here in the Discord as well, to start to get to know some of you and start to connect with you in a better way. In the second tier on Patreon is the producer tier. Those guys will be seeing our movies early, which is super cool, and you'll have an opportunity to again connect with us on Patreon, on Discord, and go in the draw to win this thing, and you'll be credited for your significant role in having us make films. And the executive producers, I don't even understand why 2 of you are here doing this, but we're going to phone in with you. I have to arrange time. I'll probably open a chat on Patreon to discuss it, but you guys will join us in our writers' room once a month, and talk about films, talk about our films, talk about your films, and yeah, discuss what's what we're working towards, and what your thoughts are on it. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your feedback and your thoughts. You guys also are getting shirts, so that'll get shipped through to you. I'm assuming you would. Patreon will sort out getting you the right size and that sort of thing. I'm not I can't see sort of that side of it, but I've put the design up, and with a lot of careful consideration and sort of previewing, it's really close to what we're had been getting printed through Canva. So you'll get a cool shirt, and all the other things as well, like the draw, seeing the films early, and all those great benefits. So yeah, this is where we're at. If you have any comments or questions around our strategy with self-distribution, pop it in the comment section down below, and we'll get back to you. And if you're not subscribed to us, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching. Check out our Patreon, see if that's something you want to do as well. I think there's a lot of opportunity here for us to take Late Night 99 to the next level, and you can be a real part of it. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you let me know, because I'm thinking about quitting the live soon, because they're not really getting the viewership or the response that I was thinking it might. So the energy that I'm putting into these, I'm thinking I might consider looking at putting that energy into doing more Patreon specific stuff. And I'm also considering putting that energy into maybe something like a podcast, or doing movie reviews or something like that. But that again might be something that sits on Patreon or goes on public YouTube. So we'll see what people are interested in, and if people are interested in this film and not film, live stream. You know what I mean? It's late over here. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed. And thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. I hope I was able to share some insight with you. And it's about the second or third time I've wrapped up the video, so I'm gonna get out of here. Bye.